looking at the...
Good evening, panel. How you doing?
Fine,
Very
thank
well.
you.
It's absolutely hot on
It
the
is.
side.
It's very warm here in the studio tonight, and as you can imagine, with 4 computers on and 6 screens, it's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit. I'm wilting. I'm wilting, folks. I'm going.
I'm going.
If
Don't wilt me.
I melt,
It's not as if you've got any fans, Pete.
No, not at all. Not at all.
250,000 of them out there, so that's not bad.
No fans. Those days have gone now. Those days have long gone. So we're going to go around the panel. We'll have a chat with each member of the panel and see what they've been up to. And we'll go to Gary because the problem is Gary's just had a Windows update. And the chances are it could go into a second update. So I want to get him in before he disappears again.
I don't know. Typical, just turn the computer on. They decided to do it. So
Gary,
I was a little late.
So Gary, did you manage to see any of the eclipse today at all?
I did actually. Yeah, I was working, but I set a scope up outside work. So we did a bit of sidewalk astronomy, which I've been told off for saying by my niece. Yeah, sidewalk. I've been told off.
But
My
Gary,
niece told me off for that.
You can't call it pavement astronomy. It just
doesn't sound
stupid.
right.
No, sidewalk's good.
It's a
Oh, John Dobson.
It was Mr. Dobson, wasn't it? Who did the famous sidewalk astronomy for years in the US. I think that's where the phrase is taken off from.
Yeah,
I think Liverpool AS were the first society to do sidewalk astronomy 20 to 30 years ago. And from that, it's grown throughout the country now, and it's become a standard, I think.
Yeah.
It's a great way of doing outreach. It's a great way of getting the membership in your societies and clubs.
Well, if we did sidewalk astronomy here in Oswestry, somebody would nick the telescopes. So,
are you sure that's not Liverpool?
No, Liverpool's safer for putting your stuff out than Oswestry.
I did some side church astronomy a little while ago outside our local church because there's a square outside, and Saturn was quite prominent. And I just put the scope up and said to people, "Do you want to come and have a look at Saturn?" And loads of people didn't. So
you can't infuse people.
They probably thought I was a bit strange, but
cemetery stargazing's not quite got the same ring, has it?
No,
and it was in the middle of the afternoon, so yeah.
So anyway, Gary, did you manage to get any images of the?
Yeah, I did, but unfortunately, I forgot my extension, so I've got a couple of close-ups, shall we say? But yeah, no, I've got a few shots and a few smartphone shots, obviously through the cloud. But we did get a nice little break at one point, so that was we were very lucky, and it pulled a few customers into the restaurant
which is always an advantage, isn't it? It's always an advantage. So Kath, did you manage to see anything?
Yeah, we actually I went to the Halfpenny Green Vineyard, not for wine, I hasten to add, but we actually, although I did come away with a bottle, but anyway, be rude not to, but they actually allow us to use, they've got like an outside area at the back of their restaurant, and they're very good. They actually allow Wolverhampton Astro to use that area. We've used it for several events. It's a really good skyline. So there was about 12 of us there today, all with varying equipment. Obviously no one was sharing any equipment. We were all socially distanced, but because Mary kindly gave me some of those eclipse glasses, I was able to give a few out to people who were interested in what we were looking at. And and I tried my DSLR, but because there was so much cloud and when there was a break, it was so fast moving, I just couldn't get the focus. So I've took some photos with my mobile phone again, and it's just incredible what comes out. I took some just using the camera, and then I cut a bit away from the eclipse glass and put that on when the sun was getting a bit brighter, and put that onto the back of the mobile phone. It's just amazing how they come out, and it was really good. We had a few people interested, so that's always good to get a few more people interested and looking at what's going on.
Yeah, that's the main thing. And I noticed Rachel had got the kids out there in the school field, and they look really excited.
Indeed,
we'd got our inflatable solar system out. It looked rubbish, so we just got the big sun, the big moon, the big earth, and we sort of showed them what was happening. And then we looked at the cloud map, and I said, it's literally cloud, guys, so we can watch it on the stream, but we probably won't get to use the glasses. And then right at about, I just tweeted with a sad face saying it's not happening. And then just all of a sudden we saw shadows on the ground, and I was thinking, right, the sun's out, let's go. And the kids got out, and a lot of us managed to go, even the staff. Our head teacher came out, her jaw fell open. It was really nice. They were really excited. So it was worth the wait.
Brilliant.
Excellent, excellent. Steve, did you manage to see anything today?
Well, I happened to be at my art group this morning, and the AGM started at virtually at maximum solar eclipse, but at partial, of course. But they'd asked me to take my solar scope along, and unfortunately, pretty clouded out the whole time. But later on, we did get a few glimpses through the cloud, just of the shape. That was all. I would say, just to keep it on the astronomy theme, that I took along my parallelogram mount, which is generally for binoculars, but I think it's brilliant for outreach because you can get it on the object. The sun, of course, you can't really miss with the Soul Searcher Finder, and any height of observer can use the same gadget because you just get it on view for you, and you can drop it as low down as you like, and it will still say on the object. It's really neat. I've even had in the past wheelchair users able to use the same view.
That's good to do. And Simon down at Bath.
I repaired a Coronado PST. One of the filters, the ITF filter, had gone blur. So last night I got the stuff from Messier Photonics, and I was busy swapping out filters so that I could see it today. And I was so rushed today, I forgot to even look through it. But I think I did a good job.
I'm sure you did a good job. I mean, in between being on Pointless as well, So
it's been a busy day.
Bit of a rush around.
Yeah, you're on again tomorrow. It's your last appearance tomorrow, apparently. So Roger.
Didn't get to see it at all, really. Only very briefly with the solar glasses that I got from Simon. So pretty much clouded out all the time until this afternoon when it was brilliant sunshine. Just saw all the pictures on Facebook. That was all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what I did, I put the camera outside. I didn't, because I haven't got a telescope mount anymore, so I've got nothing to put my telescopes on. And so I just put the camera outside and sat on a chair with it at the right height and just sat there waiting. And there was a 25-second gap. And this is the bizarre bit about it. I'd managed to get 2 photos in 25 seconds, and that was it. There was no more, and it was just not quite at the maximum part of the eclipse, but just before. Managed to get 2 photos. And before tea time, I've had them on 2 TV channels and 4 newspapers. And I only took 2, snap, and it was done. And I thought, well, that's a bit of a result, really, but not much of a result because they didn't pay me for them. So I only really think it's a result if I get paid for it. So if I don't get paid for it, it's not a result. So yeah. And I'll come to you in a minute, Anne, because obviously you didn't see the eclipse today because of you being where you are. So I'm coming to you for some space in a minute. Yeah. But Daz, you're in pretty much the same situation as me.
Yeah, I was just down the road from you. I managed to see it through the clouds for about 10-15 seconds. That was about it. As you saw, I posted, I had all my equipment out, so it ended up sort of like cloud watching, and the radar maps didn't, shall I say, the satellite maps didn't actually show the same as what I was actually seeing. So it was supposed to have been quite clear around us over for a few periods, but we didn't see nothing. So yeah, it was nice to get out anyway. So it's just one of those things. It's things we got to live with, and we chose this hobby, so we got to, but bear
it. Live with it.
Yeah. And other than that, I've done a little bit on SLU. I've booked some missions for Sunday because there's a double. Saturday, Sunday morning, because there's a double pass of Jupiter's moons across the face, so I hope to capture the shadows on that, and so hopefully I might be posting some of those.
That'd be good.
Towards the beginning of next week. So
excellent. And Dave, you were taking images from the hospital, I believe.
I was, yeah, in the middle of work, a sort of early lunch hour or a late break. Shh, don't tell the bosses. But the sky looked promising. There was hazy sky. Obviously, it was thick at times, but it was passing by. And I thought, well, it's getting thin. I could just occasionally see a glimpse of the sun and a little tiny bite to the upper limb. And then, lo and behold, blue skies were coming in from the west. I thought, wow. And it was a case of, let's go for it. A couple of the lads in the departments, they came out and had a look. A couple of patients coming in for day cases, walking past, and they're wondering what we're doing. So I had plenty of solar glasses. I let them actually have a pair to share amongst themselves. I wasn't putting them on. I don't want that nasty COVID. Ooh. So they actually saw the eclipse, some of them for the first time in their lives, and they were actually gobsmacked. I can't believe it. Oh my God, wow. And you'd think they'd seen Saturn for the first time, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they saw it. But I don't know if you remember Monday, I was saying I was optimistic. My pint glass was half full because there's always that possibility weather conditions can change locally. And I'd been using an app, and I'm going to plug it if that's okay, Pete, not the BBC. Yeah. It's an app that you can get for your Android, probably for iPhones and other services, called Flow X, FLOWX, and it's a great one for weather. I initially got that for 2017. It was recommended while I was in America for the eclipse, and they said they swear by it, and it gives you lots of a lot of pages that you can go through, cloud precipitation, so on, and it just showed that there was this gap of maybe half an hour between 11 and 12. And I did say at the time, I'm optimistic. There's this little gap that's showing. I'm going to hope for the best. And there it was, lo and behold. So it's free. The app is free to use. It's got limitations. If you want to upgrade, you can pay for it. But yeah, I think it's a good bit of software. Give it a go. So yeah, a good day in between work, but so hot at the moment. And yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable for me. I don't like this heat. No. How about yourself, Pete? You had good luck, didn't you?
Well, yeah, as I say, I had that whole 25 seconds, which was I called it the 25 seconds of forever because there's a Hawkwind track called 10 seconds of forever. So I called it the 25 seconds of forever. And it did seem like, that whole 25 seconds seemed to be an eternity trying to get these shots. But I managed to get them. But what I did like, and I posted my pictures onto the local Oswestry and Whittington sites. And people were saying in Oswestry, for the first time they've ever seen, loads and loads of people standing outside a supermarket and stuff with solar glasses. I mean, Oswestry, if it hasn't got four legs and a tail, they don't know what it is, because it's a farming community. But for some reason, they suddenly got the bug. I did have a go at the local paper because they were saying, are we going to see the eclipse? The sun will be totally blanked out and a picture of a total eclipse and all that. But it did make people look up, and I just corrected them on it, saying, it's not a total eclipse. It's not going to blank the sun out. You're going to get a third of the moon going across the sun, and that. And people were, and because it was cloudy, and you could actually see the sun, and you could see the eclipse happening without any solar glasses or anything because of the cloud. People were looking up and wondering what it was and asking questions, which was good. So I think it did open people's eyes a little bit.
I agree. It gets them to look up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was on TV news this morning, the weather, and the weather presenter, won't mention the channel, but basically the weather presenter said a total eclipse will be visible in the UK. And I thought, it's not exactly total, it's not going to go dark. But nevertheless, like yourselves, we do a live broadcast, and it's easy to say the wrong phrase because your brain's thinking that's a phrase ahead all the time.
But Dave, it's no excuse, because these presenters on the big channels, and as I say, I do work with the BBC, and I know that these presenters, they have to get all their facts and documented and everything before they go on air. So if they're getting the facts wrong, they shouldn't get the facts wrong. These are professional people.
There was an instance this morning actually about the solar eclipse where I better not mention the channel either, but they were saying that if you put a shoebox or a cardboard box on your head with a hole in it and look at the sun, you'll see the eclipse. And I thought that's completely the wrong message to be given. It was really.
You probably walk under a bus or something, but you wouldn't see the eclipse.
No,
as I said,
burn your eyes out as well.
When you've got presenters going onto the TV and what have you, they're being paid an awful lot of money to present what they're presenting, and they should get their research right. And they get very annoyed when you correct them, and that shouldn't be like that. But there we go. Yeah. That's how it is.
I was just going to say, Piers, a good test for this app is if you're in Anglesey or Blackpool and Preston and North, it's going to get your umbrellas out. It's going to be a bit wet, unless it's wrong, of course. I'll see tomorrow.
Of course, the app won't fit on my phone. I've just got to.
You can actually take a picture of it and screenshot, and then we could send that to you. And
well, there you go. You just do that.
Super glue it on your piece of stone.
Yeah. Even my iPad is so old that every time I go to install any app on it, it says this is not compatible with your version of iOS or whatever it is. I'm on iOS 6 or something like that, and I think it's about 12 now or 14.
0.1 Peter.
Steve's got an antique there as well. Look.
This is the phone I used.
Steve,
yeah. And I think it's could well be. It's certainly 25 years old, I think. And it's my phone. I do have a smartphone, but I never switch it on. No. This is fine for me. It keeps everything else at bay.
Can you take images with it?
Possibly.
If people ring me, they have to ring me on the landline. I don't like using the mobile phone for phone calls and stuff.
I think we must have been brothers in a former life, you and me.
I think so. I every time people say, "Have we got your mobile number?" No, but you can have my landline number. What? You know, a landline? Yeah, we have a landline. It's it's a proper phone, the phone that you use for phoning. That's what it's for.
I think you're in the same corridor as me, aren't you, Pete? Where there's no signal.
Yeah, there's none whatsoever here. Yeah, anyway, we'll move over to Andy. I know Andy didn't see the eclipse, but what I'm going to ask Andy is obviously what's going on in space news at the moment.
Oh, right. Jeff Bezos has announced that he will be on the first tourist flight on Blue Shepard, along with his brother. So he's going to put his money where his mouth is and be the guinea pig for the first flight, which is quite interesting. I think this is in response to Elon Musk saying he would like to go up on a SpaceX flight soon. So, the rivalry between those two. I think Bezos was determined to be the first. Other than that, SpaceX have moved the next section of the orbital launch tower to the orbital launch mount. They will presumably be slinging that on top of the tower hopefully over the weekend, but if not early next week. They've got another 5 levels to go after that. The total tower will be 493 feet tall. So it'll be the tallest structure in South Texas. What else has been going on? Astronomers have managed to calculate the distance to a magnetar for the first time. And they were very lucky because this particular magnetar is also a pulsar, which meant that they could use parallax to measure its distance. And this particular pulsar turns out to be 8,100 light years away. But it's the most accurate measurement of a magnetar's distance yet. I thought that was quite interesting, because this will enable them to check other magnetars and try and build up a distance ladder for magnetars. These objects, if our listeners don't know what magnetars are, they are neutron stars with an incredibly strong magnetic field that could wipe every credit card on Earth from the distance of the moon. And how they get that immense magnetic field, nobody knows. If you got to within about 600 600 miles of a magnetar, you would cease to exist, because its magnetic field would rip the electrons from your atoms and turn you into a cloud of ions. So they are very nasty beasts, and apart from black holes, they're probably the most bizarre objects in the universe. Off the top of my head, Pete, there's loads of stuff, but that'll do for now.
I think the thing is, we've also the thing I've been involved in again this week is the fact that Juno has done a close pass of Ganymede.
Yes, of course.
And the first images that come back are quite striking, because I didn't expect to see as many scars on the surface of Ganymede as what we did see. But if you look at some of the images I've processed, there's some very strange images where it looks like you've seen them on the moon where it looks like there's been an impact and the meteorite has bounced and caused little sub impacts in a line. But these are like little impact lines perfectly in a line, but it doesn't kind of give an indication where the first impact was. It's just a complete symmetrical line of
I saw
of
that.
impact craters. There's quite a few actually on the surface. I've been looking around the surface and trying to identify.
Pete, like me, don't you think it's strange that there were so many craters within craters?
Yeah.
There were lots of sort of, perfect bullseyes within craters. And I don't believe that that's two impacts. I think it's the way that the crater was formed has thrown up two rings. But I can't think of the process that would do that. Not every time, anyway.
No, I was talking to one of the guys who's on the mission, Juno mission, and I was saying, "What do you think these are?" And he was baffled by them, and they said they've got to look at it deeper. But they said that the scars on the surface they definitely think is caused by ice plate tectonics. Now that's interesting, ice plate tectonics, where you've actually got floating continents on
top of the ocean.
On top of the ocean. So it proves that there is a liquid ocean beneath the surface. There's obviously a liquid ocean beneath the surface because it's getting resurfaced.
And it's got more water than all of Earth's oceans combined.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting place. We discussed this last night. I did the Moons of the Solar System talk for Rachel's group, Doncaster, last night. And we were discussing that last night. And the different and how we're looking at some of the moons now as we're looking at closer images of the moons and compared to the Voyager data, is that how similar the ones where they've got subsurface oceans, the surfaces are very similar in the fact they've got these scar lines, and so it's quite interesting. So Ganymede, I think, I'm not sure if Juno is going back to do another pass or not.
No, it's not. It's next heading for Europa in September of next year.
Yeah, I managed to get the final images of Jupiter as well as it left Jupiter, which are quite nice. Just a little bit further out than the other ones, the close-up ones where it's been quite close into the planet. So I've got some a little bit further out, so you're getting more of the disk. So it's going to be an interesting mission. But what we're going to do now, we're going to go to another track, and then we're going to come back with the quiz. That is the quiz of it's like Sale of the Century, but a quiz.
It's the quiz of the week from Norwich.
It's a fun quiz.
It's a fun quiz.
You will have fun.
We'll try and answer them. That's the one thing. This is a quiz I can actually take part in because
it might be pointless, but
no. Simon will tell you all about that. So this is a track by Elliot Miner, and it's called Solaris. Is a quiz, and it's a good quiz. It's going to be a quiz with a difference because I'm not going to be able to answer any of the questions. This is by Mr. Dave Galvin from Liverpool Astronomical Society. Dave, are you ready? And listeners, have you got your pens and papers? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get your pens and papers. Are you ready, Dave?
I'm ready to go.
He's ready to go.
Has everyone got their pen and paper ready?
Tien in Japan says he's got his.
Excellent.
Stefan says, can he use a black pen?
Oh, as long as it's not sharp at the end.
Steve's wandered off to get an encyclopedia.
Oh, Steve's got to get an encyclopedia. So we're just Rachel's disappeared.
Yeah, Rachel
come back.
I hope.
Rachel's run away.
No, she's listening. She's just put it on Messenger.
Okay.
All right, she's
listening. She's got a pen and paper ready.
What she's done, she's listening. She's don't Rachel, you can show your face. We don't mind. You can show
She's
your face.
busy googling.
Roger.
You just
that
put
was
on Messenger, not Google.
No.
All I can see is a horse's head.
Yeah. An Aussie's yed, as we say where I'm from.
As long as it's there and not on your pillow.
Yeah. So I think we've waffled enough there to allow people to get their pens and papers. So
the old waffling trick always works.
We'll move on with a quiz. So how many questions are there, Dave?
We got about 4 rounds of 5 questions.
So 20 questions. So
20 questions.
We'll do a round of 5 questions, then we'll have a track and the usual format.
Keep on going, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's remember, it's not about taking part, it's about winning.
yeah.
Because the winner has to do the next quiz.
Yeah.
Or the loser.
Not the loser.
Remember, the loser.
The loser does the next quiz. I mean, you got to win. It's about the winning. Otherwise, Yeah.
Yeah.
We know what you mean.
Eat salt and vinegar crisps, and you have to do the next quiz.
Yes, that's it. That's the penance that you have
That was
to
a mistake
take.
I made last time. I admitted to it. Okay,
Right.
are we ready for question number 1?
Yep.
Question number 1. I am the 5th brightest star in the northern sky. I am a relatively young star, being half the age of the sun, but twice its size. I was once the pole star, and will be again in 12,000 years. What star am I?
How the bloody hell should I know?
You're a professional astronomer. You should know this. It's 2 points, one for the star and one for the constellation.
Okay.
Shall I read it again?
Yeah, go on.
I'm not sure I can pronounce it nicely second time. I am the 5th brightest star in the northern sky. I am a relatively young star, being half the age of the sun, but twice its size. I was once the pole star and will be again in 12,000 years. What star am I?
Well, put something.
I'll put an answer. It won't be right.
Yeah,
That's
well,
it. If you don't know, just guess, because it's all about fun.
Well, I've a star in that vicinity, you know.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Let's remember, my answer is correct, regardless.
We know the question master is always right.
That's right, even when he's wrong.
Question 2, please.
Question number 2. What was the first planetary nebula to be discovered, and by whom? 2 points. What was the first planetary nebula to be discovered, and by whom?
You want the actual designation or just the name?
I'll go for the designation, the Messier number, or the name.
Right.
And obviously the person who may have discovered it, whether it's an NGC or whatever it be.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Which constellation has the most Messier objects?
Ooh.
Sorry. Roger's got things in balance. Could it be? Or maybe it's...
Choice of 88.
There's 88 constellations. It could be a small constellation with lots of them crammed in. It could be a big constellation with them all spread about. So what constellation has the most Messier objects, or Messier objects?
Got a feeling I'm doing the next quiz.
That's all right, Pete.
We'll fight it out, Pete.
Fight it out, Pete. I was going to say.
You told me you wanted an easy one. You said it was got to be easy.
Yeah, this is all general knowledge so far.
That's okay.
And
Simon's smiling.
This is all pointless.
Yeah.
Simon's the winner.
Well, I've got 0.
Jesus.
I didn't understand that pointless game. Ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question number 4. In astronomy, what terms are used for the points directly overhead and below an observer?
Thank you, Dave. That's
okay.
That's restored my
thought you
faith.
said astrology.
I did say there'd be at least one question that you all will get, or a question that everybody should get.
Did you say astrology?
No, I don't use that word. That is a swear word. We don't use that word. Naughty
You're
Roger.
rude, Roger. Think about what you've just said.
I will read the question again and listen carefully, Roger.
You could get points taken away for that.
Yes, Roger. If you use that word, it's minus points. In astronomy, what terms are used for the points directly overhead and below an observer?
Is that 1 point for each or 1 point?
2 points.
2 points.
1 point for each.
Wow.
2 points.
Oh wow.
One for.
I bet up and
one
down.
for. Think of Dave Eagle. Let's keep looking up.
Good
Or
point.
look down.
Yeah. Okay.
Question number 5.
Yeah.
Now you got to listen carefully on this one.
We're listening.
Right. Convert the NGC object to the Messier equivalent. Now there's 3 points.
Oh.
There you go.
Now,
Dave.
Now, don't think too heavy about this. Just stand out the box and just think.
I can't do that.
NGC 1952. What is the Messier equivalent?
Yes.
Okay. Part B. NGC 1976. What is the Messier equivalent?
Which one again did you say? NGC?
NGC 1976.
1976.
That was a good year.
That was a good year.
Remember it well.
Summer.
That was the hot summer, the year of the Beatles. That was the ladybirds everywhere, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
That
well.
was the bitey things.
Yeah, nasty little things, yes.
That was the year of Dennis Howell, the Minister of Drought.
Oh.
What was the first one, Dave? Sorry.
NGC, yeah, sorry. Convert the NGC object to the Messier equivalence. NGC 1952.
Right, thank you.
B. NGC 1976. And C. NGC 224. So I'm going to try and make it a little bit easier because these are all prominent objects north of the celestial equator.
Right.
So that just makes it a little bit easier. It cuts out 180 degrees of the other stuff.
So we've had 5 questions there. We'll be going to a track now, and we'll come back to the panel for the next 5 questions. Let your brains get back in gear. Quiz, and where Dave is going to baffle us with the next 6 questions. I'm already writing the next quiz myself because I'm guaranteed.
I'm reckoning I should do that.
I'm going to show how dense I actually am. Anyway, Astro Radio, reach out and touch space, the Mr. Galvin of Liverpool AS quiz. Here we go, Dave. Next 6 questions, please.
Thank you, Pete. 5 questions in the round. So in May 2015, he released an album titled Space Sessions, Songs from a Tin Can. Who was he? 1 point.
I've got one. Bloody hell.
I told you, each of you all should get one of these at least right.
Oh,
So.
Sorry, Dave, what was the year again?
In May 2015.
2015, right.
I'll just read it for the audience. In May 2015, he released an album titled Space Sessions, Songs from a Tin Can. Who was he?
Just clicked.
Yep.
Yeah, if you've been to my talk, you'll know. If you were listening,
That's why I was. That's where it come from.
Depends if you stayed awake, Pete.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many times during these quizzes Pete says, "If you'd been to my talk."
If you'd been.
Right. And then everybody still gets all the answers wrong. It just shows who listens, isn't it?
Question number 2, round 2. Which X?
Yeah.
Okay, you can do it like that if you want. I'm doing it round 1, 2, 3, 4, and question 1 to 5. But doesn't matter as long as we keep up, we'll be okay. Okay. Question 2 of round 2. Which ex-Beatle wrote a track titled "Here Comes the Moon"? Peter's looking at me, and I knew someone would look at me. Sing the song in your head, Pete.
I can sing it, but it's not the.
Well, go on, sing it for the audience so that they know it as well.
No, I'm not.
2 minutes, guys. I've got a visitor.
Is that a choice? Is that a choice of 4?
No. Well, I've said. Well, yeah, it is a choice of 4, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which ex-Beatle wrote a track titled "Here Comes the Moon"?
We'll have to think about this one. Gary's just got a visitor there, so it gives us a little bit longer to think about this one. Now, Here Comes the Moon. I know there's another one, Here Comes Someone Else, but the moon. So it's probably not the same bloke. It's going to be one of 4.
Yeah.
I can say 1 of 4. They're from Liverpool. They had 1 or 2 hits, a couple of number 1s, solo careers. One of them had a song called "The Frog Song" by the way, Frog Chorus, wasn't it?
We're not playing that again.
No.
Oh, go on, mate. We love it.
We know you know it. We know you love it. Well, which was worse, the Frog Chorus or Mulligan Tire? Both got slated.
I think the Frog Chorus, to be honest.
Well, I actually like Mulligan Tire because I love the bagpipes. When those bagpipes come in, it was really good. Although the bagpipe players were a little bit peeved, using the posh word peeved, because they only got paid. They didn't get any royalties. They just got a performance fee. Yeah, a session fee, wasn't it? So they didn't get paid every time the record got played or
No,
balls or whatever.
they because Sib, at the time, Sib's brother, he was a pipe major for the Irish Guards, and he said they were really, really peeved that they didn't get paid. Such. So every time that was played, thousands of times.
This is how rich people get rich.
Hey, that's life, mates. Yep. If you want to have a go, write some songs.
It's all for charity, man.
I think we're all back in the room, Pete. Are we ready to continue?
No, Gary's launched into space.
He was there. He's just disappeared.
I've just seen him disappearing at the top of the picture. Yeah. I think he sat on one of his rockets and went.
Quick, ad-lib, somebody, ad-lib.
Oh, he's back. Gary's back. We can carry on with the quiz
some mime for the radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Gary? Yeah, okay. Sorry, were you waiting for me?
Yeah.
No.
Should have carried on.
There's only a million people that say, "Where the hell's Gary gone?" It's okay.
It's a little one a day to tell or something. So.
No problem, mate. No problem. So just read that again. Question number 2 of round 2. Which ex-Beatle wrote a track titled "Here Comes the Moon"? Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 3 of round 2. He played oboe, the violin, harpsichord, later on the organ. He composed many musical works, including 24 symphonies. Who was he?
Yeah, that's another one I got.
Good.
Don't tell me it was in your...
I don't know how you got that
talk.
one, Pete.
Yeah. If you attended my talk, you should get that one.
Oh,
people just started to smile.
Yeah. Patrick Moore.
Yeah. Go on, shit.
I thought it was status quo.
Motorhead.
I'll just read that again for our audience. He played oboe, the violin, harpsichord, and later the organ. He composed many musical works, including 24 symphonies. Who was he?
Wasn't Robin Scagill of the SPA, was it?
It might have been. It wasn't me. I just play the fool.
Yeah.
Usually on a hill, Peter.
Oh.
That wasn't that. That's not a quiz question. That's just me. Bad living.
Oh no, but you could have thrown it in at the end.
I could have done, but I didn't. Oh, my lights just flickered. Did anyone see that? My lights just went off in mid-eclipse. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And let's fight on. Fight on.
Was
it only a fool that was Norman Wisdom, wasn't it?
Don't laugh at me, I'm a fool.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the Beatles, no.
No, I know. No, I'm just saying that I'm only a fool.
Next question. The Planets, Opus 32 by Holst. Which is the shortest piece of work on the Planet Suite?
okay.
Ooh.
Let's all sing Joybringer.
Well, the shortest one would have been Pluto because it didn't exist.
Well,
Don't start, Daz. Don't start.
Yeah, it was Pluto. It was Pluto.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, the Planet Suite was not about astronomy. It was about that other word that Captain Roger said before and needs to have his mouth washed out with soap.
Astrology.
Oh my God, he said it again.
He said it again. That's 3 times on the show.
Astrology.
No. We are the knights who say ni, eki, patang.
I want a shrubbery.
A shrubbery? With a little fence on the way around. Peter, we are no longer the knights who say ni. We are now the knights who say ni. He said ni.
Control again.
Sorry, we've lost control. We've gone off on a tangent. Meanwhile, back at the quiz. Question number 5. On the Rush album, that's the Rush album, Farewell to Kings, which astronomical object is referenced by the track Cygnus X1?
Yeah, I actually typed the answer to that before you read the question. Before you finished reading it.
That's okay. Cygnus X1.
Play for Liverpool.
He did, funny enough. Yeah, centre forward.
Right, that's the next questions. We're going to have a little break again, and what? Waterloo Sunset. They're the Kinks, and this is Astro Radio. This is Reach Out and Touch Space, and we're just over. Well, we're halfway through the quiz, the Mr. Galvin quiz tonight here on Astro Radio. The panel are they're all looking baffled like myself, but I think secretly Simon is answering all the questions correctly. He's shaking his head there in the panel. He's not. But we're going to go back over to the quiz. And Kath's just reappeared. She did vanish for a little while there. I think she was knocking back the gin in secret.
Get me gin.
Yeah, get a gin.
Yeah.
We need a gin after this. We
You
do.
do?
So, Dave, I've had some messages coming in from around the world. And John, he's over in California. He said, Dave, what the hell?
Great.
A message from Tien in Japan. He said he can only understand the odd word that you actually say.
Oh dear, I'm talking ever so posh.
And he's got his posh accent on.
I've had electrocution lessons and everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah, can you imagine
That
that?
much is painfully obvious.
yeah, just high voltage.
So I've got all my own teeth.
Yeah, and Stefan over in near Moscow, he's enjoying it, and he reckons he's doing okay. He's doing okay.
Maybe Stefan can do the quiz for you one day.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah. And we got I haven't had any messages in from Derek from Liverpool AS, who usually at this point is
Derek's gone to ground.
Derek's gone completely to ground. There are a few more. I'll read them out as in the next break. So on with the quiz then, Dave.
Okay. Round 3. First question. Place the following in order of oldest to youngest.
Is it the Beatles again?
Funny enough, I'm from Liverpool, but it's not.
Okay.
Place the following in order of oldest to youngest. The British Astronomical Association, the Royal Astronomical Society, the Liverpool Astronomical Society.
Just the 3.
Just the 3.
Okay.
So just read it again.
Yeah.
Place the following in order of oldest to youngest. The British Astronomical Association, the Royal Astronomical Society, and 3, Liverpool Astronomical Society. In order of oldest to youngest. Only 1 point, of course. There is only one answer, the right answer.
Of course.
Interesting question.
It is.
Thought about that.
It is, and it's relatively obvious if you know.
Thanks, Pete.
Which I probably don't. But
It's like saying relativity is easy if you know.
Well, it
Well,
is.
this is it.
Einstein thought it was.
I'll throw a quick question in, which is not part of the quiz, but for Peter, you'll know this answer, Peter. Who gave the very first virtual society talk to Liverpool AS? Who gave the first talk to Liverpool Astronomical Society virtually?
I know the answer to that one. It was me.
You know that because it was Peter.
Oh.
And that is actually a historical event in this day and age.
Hysterical, did you say?
Hysterical, yes.
It was
hysterical
hysterical.
event.
And as you can tell, as you can tell by a lot of the people answering the questions to the quiz, they didn't listen.
Okay, the next question of round 3. Who was the first astronomer royal?
Yes.
Oh.
I think I've got 1 point at last.
I knew you'd get one.
The first.
The very first astronomer royal.
Yeah.
I think I know that one.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure I know that.
Don't quote me on it though.
No.
We can't quote you on it because you're not telling us. It's a kind of a trick question, isn't it, really?
Not really. When you think of all the astronomer royals that we've had since day one, we had the first and we've got the current.
I'm going to talk myself out the answer now. I know I am.
Always go with the first answer that comes into your mind. Unless it's wrong, then do another one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
That's okay. Are you ready for the next question?
Oh, just to say, Derek I've just had a response from Derek. He is listening.
Derek, sharpen your pencil, mate. Right, next question. And this is actually true. So listen to this. And maybe we'll get 5 minutes afterwards and we'll just have a chat about this one. In 1970, a disgruntled employee at the McDonald Observatory discharged his 9mm pistol into the Harlan Smith telescope, causing damage to the 107-inch, 2.7-meter primary mirror. How many bullets hit the mirror?
Well, that's a
Think of a number.
Yeah, it's
Well-
that kind of it could be anything. So I'm just going to.
Okay,
What was the date again, Dave? Sorry.
let's narrow it down because it is an obscure one. There are 8 bullets in the chamber. Okay.
Did you say the McDonald's Observatory?
The McDonald's Observatory.
What, had he had a crap burger or something?
He wasn't happy.
I was
In
thinking that.
1970. Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Other
McDonald's.
eateries are available.
Yes, it could be in the KFC Observatory. We just don't know. In 1970, a disgruntled employee at the McDonald's Observatory discharged his 9mm pistol into the Harlan Smith telescope, causing damage to the 107-inch, 2.7-meter primary mirror. How many bullets hit the mirror? There was 8 bullets in the chamber. How many hit the mirror?
Pick a number. Pick a number.
Pick a number between 1 and 8.
When the
Or 0 and 8 even. Yeah. There you go.
When the mirror for the Mount Wilson Observatory was moved from where it was cast across America by road, they actually encased it in armor plating because they were so scared of people taking pot shots at it. True story.
There you go. These things happen.
Oh, we've just had a message in from where has it gone? I've lost it. From Lee in Cornwall. And he says his brain hurts. And did you know if you say that word, which has been said a few times,
Roger,
the Candyman jumps out of the nearest mirror?
At least it's only the Candyman and not Russell Grant.
Yeah.
Just saying there. Okay.
Okay. Next question.
Next question. Where and what size? Russell Grant. Sorry. Where and what size aperture is the world's largest working refracting telescope? 2 points. 1 for the aperture, 1 for the observatory.
How big is it? It's too big.
Where and what size aperture is the world's largest working refracting telescope?
I've got a feeling I know that one.
I think I know that one as well.
I think some of you should know that one.
Refracting. Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't that funny? Who laughed then?
Oh, sorry.
Was that you, Jazz?
That's my phone. That's one of you messaging me.
Who's cheating, asking Andy for the answers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's Ron. Oh, sorry.
It sounds like Ron.
I never knew Ron sounded like that.
Well, you've got him laughing now.
He's been playing back with that time machine again.
It is. That's his bass playing.
He's gone too far back. We're ready for next question.
Yeah.
I'm just
last question in round 3. Now listen carefully. Which well-known star opened the Chicago World's Fair in 1933?
Which were...
Andy's mouth and George has gone. Me and Peter remember
are
the
we
event.
talking celestial star or personality?
I'm just reading the question as it's written. I do apologize. Which well-known star opened the Chicago World's Fair in 1933? Only one star opened the World's Fair in 1933.
Yeah,
I know. Daz almost gave the answer out then. Okay, we're going to carry on with another track now. We're going to carry on.
It's all about learning. We're
going to carry on with another track now, and we're going to calm. And they can't be heard on the radio, but I'm going to put them through now because we want the second part of the quiz. People out there across the world are baffled. Dave has brought the world to its knees. It's worse than the pandemic.
And it's not for the first time, folks.
They're closing borders as we speak.
Because starts wars.
But here we go, Dave. Carry on.
Thank you very much, Pete. The thing about quizzes. It's like when the news media say, "Oh, tonight there's going to be a supermoon," and we all go out there and look at this supermoon. It's just the same size as it was last
swearing.
I know. No, this is okay. We're not using that other word. So it makes us all look up. We all look up, and that's the important thing. We all then look up and see what's out there, even if it's a stupid phrase for a full moon. The moon's always super. So quizzes are about learning, and it doesn't matter whether you get it right or wrong. At some other point, you go, that question that was asked, I'm going to look that up. Yeah, and you learn something.
That's what it's all about.
You remember next time.
Saying that, I'm going to look it up. What we must reiterate here is you don't look it up now.
Oh no! That's what we need about. No, afterwards, because in England we call that cheating.
Yes.
Just not cricketers at Hillboy.
Nicht richtig. Carry on.
Nicht richtig, mein Fiora Freunde, mein Gott in Himmel, and other stuff. Other politics are available.
Get on with it.
Question number 1, round 4. Are you ready, Pete?
Yes.
Sitting comfortably. Here we go. Poop in space.
Oh.
We've had squids in space this week. This is about poop in space. I'm using the polite word.
Yes.
Which Apollo mission allegedly had a piece of poop floating in their tin can? Name the 3 astronauts on board and the Apollo mission.
That's my question.
He stole that one.
That's
that
question.
Simon. That we had the script.
Doesn't matter. In that case, Simon, you should get the question correct. Right. I've got the transcript anyhow, so let's fight on because the audience may not remember it.
No.
Right. Which Apollo mission for 1 point, and name the 3 astronauts for further 3 points. 4 points in all. Which Apollo mission allegedly had a piece of poop floating in their tin can, and name the 3 astronauts on board. There we go.
Who said it?
Song.
I can't remember it either from last time.
Doesn't matter. I'm sure other quiz people have said the same question in different ways as well. I used the phrase poop, Simon didn't. I used the phrase tin can, Simon didn't. There you go. It's a different question.
Simon actually asked for who actually said it, didn't you, Simon? I think.
Well. Oh, come on.
Oh, he's disappointed now.
I think he's sulking. It's pointless, Simon. It's pointless. It's pointless, my friend. Pointless. Do we need to read it out again?
No.
Okay, next question. On which planet would you find Johann Sebastian Bach, Ludwig van Beethoven, and Chuck Berry?
On which planet?
On which planet?
Well, it won't be Pluto. That's not a planet.
Shut up.
You tell Peter that.
God's sake, don't start it again.
Roger, you got your big
They're
spoon
being
out
very
tonight.
cruel to you. That's 2 digs about
You're
Pluto.
like kids
I
in the
know.
playground.
I don't know.
I tell you what, I did that talk for Doncaster last night, and they were not convinced about Pluto being a planet. They were very against it.
No.
Young audience, Peter. Young audience. You can't.
I wouldn't say that.
Easily led audience.
I wouldn't say young. There was one young person in it. The rest of them, no, they weren't that young. I have to say they were round about my age.
Oh, hold on
No
now,
problem.
Pete. Johnny's took offence because Johnny was in there and he's only 34.
Half my age. Half my
What was
age.
17 again, Dave? Sorry.
Question again.
Where's Herschel? Where's Chuck Berry?
On which planet would you find Johann Sebastian Bach, Ludwig van Beethoven, and Chuck Berry?
That's a difficult one.
All right, I'll read it shorter. On which planet would you find Bach, Beethoven, and Chuck Berry?
I'm
I
just going
think
to
I'm
have a guess.
barking up the wrong tree.
I'm going to have a guess at that.
Please do.
I think Steve knows. He's looking smug.
No way. No way. When you said calm before, terrified is what I am.
And there's only 1 point for that, of course.
Of course. Well, there's only one planet.
Right. Next question, Peter.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yes.
Name 2 well-known astronomers who resided at 19 New King Street, England.
Sorry, can you be a bit more specific than England?
No, I can't.
Oh. That covers a pretty wide area, Dave.
Well, how many number 19 New King Streets do you know?
Oh,
23.
We've got a King Street in Oswestry.
How many astronomers lived at any of those 23 streets?
74.
Okay, you're narrowing it down. Keep going until you get 2 well-known. Not your mate John, Fred, Billy Bong, Bingo, whatever, who just happened to be an astronomer.
They're well known down my street, mate.
Not down our street.
I think I've had a kip there. Does that count?
Yeah.
If you're a well-known astronomer, then you could put your name down.
Well, that's 3 then, isn't it? That's 3.
I've only asked for 2. Only asked for 2.
Next question.
And that's 2 points, 1 point for each.
You didn't say famous and not infamous.
Don't be giving it away now, Simon.
Yeah.
Go on, let's get on to the next question.
Just a touch.
Who discovered Pluto?
Ah.
Oh.
I'm not going to say planet or dwarf planet. And I do not want Walt Disney as an answer. If you put Walt Disney down, yeah, minus 10 points.
I'll give you a little clue. His niece listens to this program.
Does she really?
Yes,
in that case,
yes.
she'll get this question right then.
Yeah.
Hello, his niece. I can't say his name, but hello, his niece. I'm so glad you're with us on Astro Radio.
Kathy.
Brilliant.
Kathy's a name.
Good name.
Next question. Which British amateur astronomer met Orville Wright, the first aviator, Yuri Gagarin, the first human to travel into space, and Neil Armstrong, the first human to walk on the moon?
That's an easy one.
I'll read it again for the audience. Which British amateur astronomer met Orville Wright, the first aviator, Yuri Gagarin, the first human to travel into space, and Neil Armstrong, the first human to walk on the moon?
Okay, so that's all the questions, isn't it, Dave? That is all the questions.
Unless we go to a tiebreaker.
So what we'll do now, we're going to go to a couple of tracks to give you all a rest and have a think.
I need to lie down.
Kath's going for a lie down. And I think most of the audience are having a lie down. Derek has come back again and said he's got brain ache now. I think you've destroyed Derek. Derek.
I'm hoping Tian can understand my posh Scouse accents.
And this kind of sums up the whole thing. This is a band called, this is a track called, this is going to be interesting because
about 40, 50
the
minutes.
loser actually has to do the next quiz. So we'll see how we go. I think there's a lot of people actually writing the next quiz as I speak. I can see them doing it.
Yeah.
But, we'll go through
just
the
copy
answers.
Simon's questions.
I've just unmuted David a little bit too early there and just caught him saying diamonds or something. But I don't know whether that's the prize.
Diamonds are forever, sir.
Diamonds. Because, Lucy, she did have some in the sky. Now, here's a fact. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is a pink... a Beatles track. No. Where was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds first ever mentioned? It was mentioned in a Pink Floyd track in 1967, 2 years before the Beatles actually wrote a track called. You listen to some of the old Pink Floyd. I can't remember the name of the track exactly.
Interesting point.
It was mentioned as a lyric in a Pink Floyd album 2 years before Sgt. Pepper was released.
Did John Lennon tell them that Julian had drawn Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? He actually had the child's drawing and it said Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds on it.
It could have been. There could have been a conversation had, but it was actually in a lyric in a Pink Floyd song.
Interesting.
And I tell you how that came to light. I didn't know that until I listened or watched a concert the other night, and it's Nick Mason's band, Saucer Full of Secrets, and they're playing all the old Pink Floyd stuff. And believe it or not, Gary Kemp from Spandau Ballet is the vocalist.
Really?
Because he says the band that he always wanted to be in was Pink Floyd.
Wow.
As they are his favourite band. And so he's joined forces with Nick Mason, Pink Floyd's drummer, to do Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets. Yeah. On bass is Guy Pratt, who was the bassist that replaced Roger Waters. Guy Pratt is the son of Randall in Randall and Hopkirk Deceased. There's
There's some trivia there.
Yeah.
I hope they cover Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun.
They did.
I absolutely love it.
Go onto Sky Arts and download it. It's a fantastic concert. Yeah. But one of the old Syd Barrett tracks released in 1967, and he says, I worship Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Let There Be More Light was the track.
Let There Be More Light.
Right. It was. Yep.
Another track, yeah.
Okay, so we're ready.
Right.
So
are we ready for the answers, sir?
Gary gets a point for that.
No.
Google does.
Google gets the question. Okay, let's go through the questions. First question. I am the fifth brightest star in the northern sky. I am relatively young. I'm a relatively young star, being half the age of the sun, but twice its size. I was once the pole star and will be again in 12,000 years. What star am I? What's our panel say?
I put
Vega.
Vega.
The correct answer is Vega.
Yes.
And does anybody have the constellation for the second point?
Lyra.
The answer is Lyra. So Vega and Lyra for 2 points.
Oh, I didn't know we needed the constellation. I was just so happy
Well,
to get Vega.
You obviously knew the constellation there, Daz. So
That's all right. I'll just
Go
take the
for it.
1 point.
that's up to you. Second question. What was the first planetary nebula to be discovered and by whom?
Is it the Crab Nebula with Messier?
Herschel.
That's
In
not
27.
Nebula,
I
is
would
it?
say dumbbell.
I would say M27.
Yeah, Charles Messier.
Okay, for those who said M27 or the Dumbbell Nebula, I'll accept both.
Wow, got it. Is that
M27, the
two
Dumbbell is for
Yeah,
1
Messier.
point,
That's Messier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
and the Observer was Charles Messier for your 2nd point.
Oh, I got Messier.
Messier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Question 3. Which constellation has the most Messier objects?
Didn't know that one.
I put Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Me too.
Any advance on Sagittarius?
No,
Cancer.
I thought it was that.
Do I hear Ursa Major?
Sagittarius. I was thinking of
Answer
Sagittarius.
quite correctly is Sagittarius, and it has 15,
Oh.
15 Messier objects.
I actually wrote Saggy because I couldn't type so quickly
Saggy.
while I'm doing
That's
the
okay. As long as it didn't say
Saggy.
Sagitta. As long as it wasn't Sagitta, that's
Saggy.
okay. Sagittarius, 15 objects, 1 point. Next question. In astronomy, what terms are used for the points directly overhead and below an observer?
Zenith
Oh.
and Nadir.
Correct? 2
Oh,
points.
I put Zenith and not the Zenith. Okay.
That's okay. We get 1 point for Zenith.
The
I put-
anti-Zenith.
I put Zenith and the Southern Zenith.
Sorry, Peter. As much as I love you, you only get 1
Then
point.
And does anybody know where those terms come from?
Please tell us that, Andy.
They are Arabic.
Arabic.
Okay. Sweet.
Zenith.
I know
Well,
that.
of course, Americans will say Zenith,
Well, they
Nadir.
would, yes.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's okay. We're all friends.
Absolutely.
Next question. Now, this is the one I want you to think about, obviously.
Oh.
Convert the NGC object. Now, what is that? What's NGC? The New General
New General
Catalogue.
Catalogue.
Yeah.
Convert it to the Messier Catalogue equivalent. NGC 1952 is known as Messier
M1.
1.
1,
Crab Nebula.
the Crab Nebula.
Yeah, got that.
NGC 1976,
42.
known as M42,
Oh.
Orion Nebula.
Yeah.
the Orion Nebula. If you write it Orion Nebula, I'll accept that as well. Or if you write the Crab Nebula, I can accept that.
I'm just doing this for our audience.
That's okay.
Thank you,
NGC, NGC 224 is better known as Messier
31.
Andromeda.
31.
or
The Andromeda
31.
Galaxy.
Andromeda Galaxy. So yes, again, 3 points there for A, B, and C. M1 Crab Nebula, M42 the Orion Nebula, M31 Andromeda Galaxy.
I got all three, but not necessarily in the right order.
I'm not sure whether it makes a point of this.
With all the rest written down in between, yeah.
The second round. First question. In May 2015, he released an album titled Space Sessions, Songs from a Tin Can.
Chris
Who wa-
Hadfield.
Who was it?
Chris
Chris
Hadfield.
Yes,
Hadfield.
Hadfield.
Chris Hadfield, Commander Chris Hadfield, 1 point.
Yep.
Here's the one with the confused faces looking at me.
Yeah, yeah.
Which ex-Beatle wrote a track titled Here Comes the Moon?
Ringo Starr.
George Harrison.
John Lennon.
George Harrison.
Anyone
Paul
want to say
McCartney.
Paul McCartney?
No.
No.
Some of you are correct and the others are wrong. It was George Harrison from the album.
That was a
From
guess.
the album, George Harrison.
I
Of
can't
course,
get
he was
that one wrong, can I?
better known for Here Comes the Sun. He also did Here Comes the Moon, but yeah,
I
okay.
never knew that. I'll have to check that up. Dave.
Check the album, George Harrison album. George
Is
Harrison.
it good? I've never heard it.
George Harrison, he's like Marmite. Marmite, you either like some of the tracks or you don't, and some are good, some are different, some are the samey, and some are a bit way out there. All Things Must Pass, I love, but the album, a bit weird at times, but it's George Harrison. Who cares?
I love. Did
Go
you
for
see
it.
that story that was on the internet about Maxwell's Silver Hammer? That Paul and John played it to George Harrison, and he said, "That's rubbish. Do we really have to do this?" And they said yes. And he walked out in a huff and immediately went and wrote "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
Wow.
So Paul McCartney said at least something came of it.
Well, that's quite right, yeah. Well, I think John Lennon hated Obladar as well.
Yeah, he did.
And
He did,
one
yeah.
reason he didn't go any further with it was they gave it to the Marmalade, wasn't it? And they had a #1 hit with it. But there you
That's
go.
right. It was a
Next
Marmalade.
question. He played oboe the violin, harpsichord, and later the organ. He composed many musical works, including 24 symphonies. Who was he?
Wilhelm Herschel.
Herschel.
Simon?
Yeah.
That works on radio,
Simon concurs. The radio silence of, yes, it was William. Frederick Herschel, 1 point.
Right.
Next question. The Planets, Opus 32 by Holst. Which is the shortest piece of music?
Mercury.
I think it's
Mercury.
Venus.
I put Venus.
I put
It's
Venus.
actually Mercury.
Oh, well done.
It sort of it reflects
I used to work in the music library doing classical stuff.
Excellent. And I know if Ron was on the panel tonight doing the quiz, and he may be listening, or he may do it afterwards on a replay, I know he'll know the answers to these music questions. I've got to remember that it wasn't astronomy, it was about the other subject we won't mention.
Don't.
Let's not go there. Let's quickly move to the final question of round 2. On the Rush album, Farewell to Kings, which astronomical object is referenced by the track Cygnus X1?
It's a black hole.
A black hole's radio source, yeah.
I'm happy with that. Black holes, yeah. The answer with that I got down is first stellar mass black hole, but black hole is the answer. 1 point.
Okay.
Never listened to Rush.
No, Canadian bands, some good stuff again. Some maybe not so great, but little pieces.
They're just yes wannabes.
With a Canadian accent.
I think they're better musicians than Yes.
Oh, that's contentious. I don't think so.
Oh,
I
yes,
really
yes,
don't
yes.
think so.
Geddy Lee will knock spots off.
There's a fight breaking out, folks. There's a fight breaking out.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Right, we're going to have to take this further, Pete, because you're talking rubbish.
We'll have to have a Rush Yes competition live on air.
Chris
track
Fry is
against
one of the
track.
greatest bassists that ever lived.
Each of you pick 10 tracks, any albums, and we'll have a fight off between the two.
Being a bass player, I know that he wasn't the best. I was.
Round number 3. First question. Place the following in order of oldest to youngest. The British Astronomical Association, the Royal Astronomical Society, the Liverpool Astronomical Society.
I've gone for the
plug.
Royal AS, Liverpool, and the BAA.
Same as me.
Yeah, same here.
And the correct answer.
LAS, RES, BAA.
I went last Raspa.
I went Las Labas.
I like the sound of Las Labas. Sounds like a song. It's lovely. Yes, the RES 1820, the Liverpool AS 1881.
Ooh, got it right.
BAA 1890, born from the very loins of the Liverpool Astronomical Society.
Wow.
And we do not let them forget it.
So do we get that? Having them in the right order, is that 3 points, 1 point, half a point? What is it?
1 point. Only the correct order is the answer.
Right. So 1 point. 1 point.
1 point for the correct order. RES, LAS, BAA.
Yeah. So
Next question. Who was the first astronomer royal?
Flamsteed.
John Flamsteed. 1675 to 1719. 1 point.
Now is the one, isn't it? The mirrors.
This is it.
Here we go.
Oh, this is funny.
1970, a disgruntled employee at the McDonald Observatory discharged his 9mm pistol into the Harlan Smith telescope, causing damage to the 107-inch, 2.7-meter primary mirror. How many bullets hit the mirror? There was 8 bullets.
You're going to say none.
I think it was 7, because didn't he use 1 at the person and then the rest at the scope?
Rachel's on the ball. Rachel's on the ball. He had to go he had to go shooting the boss, which I don't understand because my boss is very nice and I would never do things like that.
Can we have 1 point for each bullet?
You can have 1 bullet for the bullet that missed.
What's the story here, Dave? Why did you do that?
What's the story? What's the story? Morning glory. Bum 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 bum. Have I got the
Alamori.
It is actually a song, but we won't go into details of what the song is about. Basically, he was disgruntled. He was upset. He took his gun out. He fired it at his boss, but missed. He then, at gunpoint, ordered them to lower the telescope down. Bear in mind the size of this thing. You know, it's a huge telescope, isn't it? They have to lower it down. And then when it got down to his arm height, he shot the gun, the remaining 7 bullets into the into the mirror and hit the mirror. If you look this up, you can actually see images of the mirror with the bullet holes in. Bear in mind, the mirror, I think, was I can't remember, it was 3.2 centimeters thick glass, or it was, no, it wouldn't have been, it could not be 30 centimeters. It was a thick piece of glass. I think it was 3.2 centimeters.
Oh, quite thick stuff, then, yeah.
It didn't shatter the glass. He also hit it with a hammer as well. It was attacking it with the hammer as well, so causing some damage. But it didn't disfigure it. It actually didn't do much damage to it, and it's still usable to this day with the bullet holes. Well, it may have knocked it into collimation as well. But the police officer, or the sheriff at the time, he looked into the telescope tube at the optics, and he saw this big hole at the bottom, big round hole at the center of the telescope, and reported it as totally damaged beyond repair. Just, you know, he didn't realize it was a Schmidt-Cassegrain, whatever going to be all for the light path to pass through. But the sheriff said he appeared to be drunk, very drunk. The staff at the observatory said he was slightly deranged and probably mentally ill.
Okay, then.
But it's an
The
interesting
glass
story.
that thick. Was his name Ricochet?
Ricochet. That favourite detective of the 1920s, Ricochet.
Also a character in Captain's.
Did he say that he shouldn't have shot the mirror upon reflection?
He said, "I shot the mirror, but I didn't shoot the sheriff." No, let's move on because time's getting on. It's a good story, well worth looking up.
I will. Dave,
okay, let's fight on. Where and what size aperture is the world's largest working refracting telescope? 2 points. Where and how big?
I think it's the Yerkes Observatory.
40-inch.
Correct.
40-inch, yeah.
And it's our Frank's hometown of Wisconsin as well.
Is that 2 points or 1 point?
1 point for the Yerkes Observatory. What was the aperture of the mirror, imperial or metric?
40-inch.
Yeah, 40-inch, yeah.
40 inches, correct. 2 points. And if Frank's out there listening to us, come on, Frank, join the panel. We miss you.
Yeah, come on, Frank. Where are you? We miss you.
Right. Next question. Which well-known star opened the Chicago World's Fair in 1933?
Arcturus.
Oh, he beat me to it. Stole my thunder.
Oh, was it Arcturus? Honestly,
it was Arcturus.
It was the sun. The sun would seem to be logical.
I thought someone was going to say Marilyn Monroe or Humphrey Bogart. And when Andy, you said, "What do you mean by star? What exactly do you mean?" Don't you ruin my question. Just briefly, opening a World Expo is always a special moment, as it marks the starting line for an event that will go on to attract millions of visitors from across the world. In 1933, Chicago wanted something electrifying to mark the opening of its Century of Progress Expo, a way to signal to participants and visitors how far the city had come since its establishment 100 years earlier. While focused on technical innovation and the achievements of science and industry, Expo organizers also wanted to pay tribute to history, and notably to Expo 1893, the world's Columbian Exposition that was held in Chicago 40 years prior. So from these ideas and considerations, the idea was born to light up the Expo site using a beam of light that first left a star in 1893, the star Arcturus. This was Arcturus, one of the brightest stars in the Northern Hemisphere. It plays its role. Astronomers at the time estimated that Arcturus was located 40 light years from Earth. The light emitted, hang on, wait for it. The light emitted from Arcturus during the world's Columbian Exposition would reach the Earth in 1933, in time for the opening of the Century of Progress Expo. So on Thursday, at 9:15 p.m. on the 27th of May, 1933, 4 telescopes located in different observatories captured light from Arcturus and focused it onto photoelectric cells. These cells transformed the light into an electrical current that was amplified and sent to the Expo site on the shores of Lake Michigan. The current lit up the floodlights before a crowd of 30,000 people gathered outside the Hall of Science. Now, Peter remembers this, and he remembers thinking to himself, he often tells the story, that was the day the sky became bright and the stars dimmed and light pollution was born. Is that right, Peter?
Oh, yeah, I remember it well.
You remember it well. The idea is credited to Edwin Frost, the former director of the Yerkes Observatory in Wisconsin. At the time, had the world's largest refracting telescope. 3 other telescopes in different locations were also selected to ensure that at least one would detect the light from Arcturus in case of bad weather. On the opening night, however, all telescopes managed to focus on the star's light, and visitors to the expo could see Arcturus in the clear night sky. Of course, the other thing is that later on they found out that Arcturus wasn't 40 light years away. It was only 37 or thereabouts. Yeah. So the light from Arcturus was slightly in error. Had it arrived early or later? That's the question. Next question. Round 4. Okay, we're watching the time as we go. Poop in space. Which Apollo mission allegedly had a piece of poop floating in their tin can and named the 3 astronauts on board? Apollo
10, Stafford, Cernan and Young.
Apollo 10, Tom Stafford, Gene Cernan, John Young. 4 points. True story, allegedly. Yeah. Next question. On which planet would you find Johann Sebastian Bach, Ludwig van Beethoven, and Chuck Berry?
Mercury.
Which planet?
Earth.
Well, the Earth, obviously.
Earth, they're dead. They're buried. They're still here.
They may have rotted away. They may have been cremated and vaporized into the atmosphere.
I think it's Mercury.
It's the planet Mercury, and they're all craters.
They're craters on Mercury. Thank you very much.
And they're all jamming together.
2 Mercury questions.
Yeah.
Well, it threw me a bit, but yeah.
Are we okay with that one? It's done.
Yeah. Move on.
Next question. We're living here, mate. We're trying to fight through. Name 2 well-known astronomers who resided at 19 New King Street, England.
William and Caroline Herschel.
Oh, of course.
The Herschels.
The Herschels, William and Caroline. 2 points for that one.
I think Simon might have given it away from his face.
That's why I said don't give it away, Simon.
Smile.
I think Simon, you must have twitched because I was like,
Yeah.
Okay, second to last question. Who discovered Pluto?
Tombo.
Tombo, 1 point.
Yeah.
And the last question. Which British amateur astronomer met Orville Wright, the first aviator, Yuri Gagarin, the first human to travel into space, and Neil Armstrong, the first human to walk on the moon?
Patrick Moore.
Sir Patrick Moore.
Yay!
1 point. So add them up.
Right in that round.
Right,
let's add them up.
Everybody adds your
them
points.
all right on that one.
All add your points up, listeners, and we're going to go to another track quickly, and then they got 11 and 12 respectively.
Oh,
Derek got 11. Serge in India got 2. Stefan in the Russian Republic, just outside, I always have to say just outside of Moscow, he got 22.
Wow. Well done.
And Tien in Japan got 14.
Well done.
Shall I give you my score?
Please.
27.
Whoa. Excellent, Peter.
The ones I got wrong with John was the Here Comes the Moon thing.
Yeah.
The bullet one, because you weren't going to give us points for each bullet. So got that one wrong.
I apologise.
And I got Zenith right, but the Southern Zenith you wouldn't accept.
No.
So those were the ones I got wrong. So 27 I got myself.
Excellent.
So let's go around the panel. Daz.
18.
Respectable.
Respectable. Roger.
16.
Andy.
16.
Steve.
Well, I did great. I got all the first 4 questions right, but at that point, my 8th glass of sherry kicked in. And I ended up with 15.
Oh, respectable though, Steve.
Respectable.
Wow.
So how many did you say? How many did you say you had, Daz?
18.
18. So it's you so far, Steve. You're going to be the next quizmeister by the look of it.
I tell you.
Yeah. Kath.
18.
Gary.
23.
See, now Gary's up there. He's up there. He's up on the league table. Rachel.
16.
Simon.
19.
19.
So, Steve, you are the next quizmaster. We'll do that in about a month's time.
I was going to say, is that the quiz in 2022? That's what I was hoping.
Respectable scores there as well.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well, if you win the next quizmaster, you've got to write the quiz after the sherry's kicked in.
And in Greek.
In Greek.
I'll be using Dave as a translator in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go on electrocution lessons with me.
We're coming close to the end of the show now, and next week is going to be a little bit different because it's my birthday week. I just
Your birthday is
it? Wow.
Yeah, mine's on Monday.
So what we're going to do, we're going to do 2 shows next week, but they're both going to be music shows. On Monday, we're going to have a panel where the panel can pick songs, provided I've got them in the database.
Noland.
Yeah, if you wish, it can happen. So it's going to be a bit of a music night for the panel. I'll rig it up so you can hear the music.
Oh, thank you.
Through the Zoom.
Through
the Zoom. And then on Thursday, it's going to, because that's the actual day of the big day, the day when I was invented and built, and designed and all the rest. That's going to be just a straight rock show where I'll be playing all my favorite tracks. So you can come into the, I'll put the Zoom on if you want to go in the Zoom chat, but I'll leave it on Astro Radio chat as well. And we'll have a fun night on that night.
Does that mean you'll actually be on the fossil record now, Pete? You don't give years, it's carbon dating now, is it?
Yes, they carbon date me next week.
Cut your head off and count the rings.
That's
it. I mean,
if you can get an app for that.
But they keep moving the goalposts, so I can't officially retire till next year, can I? But I should have retired this year, but I'm not retiring anyway. So that's.
How can you retire from a hobby, hey Pete?
Hey,
how can you retire from your hobby?
Yeah, it's true. A hobby that you get paid for. That's a profession. That's a profession, then. I don't know. Call it what you want. Call it blagging, whatever you like.
I call it just envious. Simple.
Call it what you like. But we're going to leave tonight with a track, and I think it's kind of, now we've had the eclipse, it feels we're a little bit sad now it's ended. And just say good night to the panel. Good night, panel.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for taking part, everyone, and all our listeners.
Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Cheers, Dave, for doing the quiz.
We look forward to Steve's quiz in about a month's time.